It's undeniable. The age in which we live is in large part characterized by the Internet of Things. Thanks to Fitbits, smartwatches, and smartphones, we can be, and most of us are, connected at all hours of the day. To our work, to our friends, families, random people we went to high school with, everyone. And when it seems we couldn't possibly be more connected, these technologies continue to change and to evolve so that we are.
This is a little strange. This is strange for an online producer who makes content specifically for online to suggest that maybe we're spending too much time on the internet.
What are you doing?
Commenting on this picture.
Where are you commenting?
On his Facebook.
It certainly does no wonders for job security. And what's probably worse is that the real motivation behind making this video has less to do with any real data and more to do with my own curiosity and desire to understand what I think is a growing dependence on my phone. And I don't think I'm alone. It seems that everyone around me is equal or if not more attached to their devices.
For pedestrians, they might be distracted, have a hard time just sitting alone with their thoughts, and they might walk into a stop sign, or they might be in danger of walking into someone else or into traffic. We see this also with driving.
We know distractions can be dangerous. We know that more than 3,000 people in 2014 died in car accidents involving distracting driving, and another 431,000 were injured in car accidents involving distracted driving. It's almost surprising that those figures aren't higher, considering that every single day Americans altogether check their phones 9 billion times. So as these technologies become ever more entrenched in our lives, I guess the question is, can we moderate our use, or must we opt out completely?
The first person I consulted was Cal Newport, the author of the New York Times article, "Quit Social Media, Your Career May Depend on It." It's an interesting idea, especially for someone like me who works largely through the channels of social media. Important things to know about Cal: he's a computer science professor, a millennial like me, and quite remarkably, never a user of social media.
Yeah, these technologies, especially those that are developed by the really large companies that have the resources to do this type of engineering, so like Twitter and Facebook, these technologies are engineered to be addictive because that's how the attention economy works. The more time you spend looking at your Twitter feed or looking at your Facebook wall, the more those companies can monetize the cognitive landscape between your ears. It's that doing actual hard thinking, the actual hard thinking it takes to learn a new skill, the actual hard thinking it takes to apply that skill at a high level. This is, by definition, a boring activity in the sense that there's not a lot of novelty in it. So that type of addiction that a lot of people are forming can have this big negative impact on their professional development and their professional success.
So basically, we're being exploited by these big tech companies through our use of all these apps and devices, which ultimately discourage hard thinking and learning. It's a pretty bleak prospect, but to what extent, if any, is this really a problem? To better understand American usage habits, I spoke with Craig Wigington, who oversees Deloitte's Global Mobile Consumer Survey.
We found this year that Americans in the aggregate check their cell phone or mobile device over 9 billion times a day.
Over 9 billion times a day.
This time, which is interesting, the younger generation that we have in our survey, which is 18 to 24, was not the highest usage generation. It was actually the next one up, the 25 to 34-year-olds.
So these guys, mid-20 to early 30-somethings.
You know about the 30-something game.
Not these guys, teens to early 20-somethings.
The most unusual finding was a question we asked about, do you check your device in the middle of the night? And the response was a lot higher than I expected. 50%, almost 50% of all consumers check their phone in the middle of the night. And in the 25 to 34-year-old category, it's more than 70% check their device in the middle of the night.
So according to the Deloitte survey, my generation is the worst offender. Does all this usage come at a cost?
One of the things we're seeing both clinically as well as research is these technologies are changing the way we deal with our emotion. Researchers are actually starting to look at fear of missing out, FOMO, One of the things that happens is what we call envy-inducing experiences. You're on social media, you see something from someone else, it makes you feel envious, like they are having a better experience or living a life or doing something that you wish you could do. Active social media use is actually related to positive outcomes. So it all comes down to the function, the ability to have instant connection with people, gather information, get work information, get school information, get entertainment in your pocket at all times is radically new. We've never had anything like that before. It is a grand experiment that we're running.
Okay, so you might not be too surprised to learn that these apps and devices can influence the way that we feel. But how else might they affect our minds? Could they, for instance, make us smarter?
So the two main areas where we have seen the positive effects, one is called the Flynn effect. And Flynn is a scientist who noticed that over the last 100 years, where we have had consistent IQ tests, the average IQ of the population at large has been improving, has been increasing every 10 years. The other area of evidence is as people get older, in our 50s, 60s, some things in cognition, in memory, attention tend to decline, both in the US and in the UK. The evidence shows that people who are 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 today, cognitively are much more higher level. So the starting point is called neuroplasticity, how flexible our brains are through life. So if that is true, and now we know it is true at any age, that presents many opportunities and many challenges. We can use technology to be more mindful, to be more alert, to have more interesting communications with new people, to learn new languages, or we can use it to be passive, to be angry, to just watch television 6 hours every day. Our brains are going to evolve in very, very different ways, physically and functionally.
In that last interview, Alvaro compared all these advances in new technology to the advent of the automobile. And when you think about it, when cars were first introduced, they were arguably equally transformative. He also noted that safety features like seatbelts and airbags, they came slowly, as did the rules of the road. All of this to say, when it comes to new technology, maybe we should start seriously considering how we can be smarter, safer, and more responsible users